Okay. I've reached an understanding of how my written expression of the language I call English with an I can be construed, and is in fact, no doubt, ego manifest from a number of perspectives, though not from the perspective of wanting to be seen as anything specifically wanting to be seen. I want to write like that for various reasons, or I wanted to write like that for various reasons. One being that it has been revelatory to me in so many ways. What have I deduced from it? That any one thing can be appreciated, seen, understood, although perhaps that's an incorrect term, in at least 18 different ways. I stopped counting at 18. I stopped counting at 12. I only went to 18 because when I got to 12, when I said I stopped at 12, people said to others, you can read it 12 different ways, which I didn't say. I said when I got to 12 I stopped looking further into it, because there is also another aspect to it, in that there is only one way to look at it. There is only one way to truly understand what it is that I was expressing in verbalization, the writing of words. No less it was very interesting that I could see 18 different possible communications in that one, as well as the one, although I suppose the one was part of the 18, and it is part of the aspectual nature of my experience of human life, perhaps. So I was expressing myself like that, and I'm saying it in the negative there, because really I have gleaned enough from it and know the dangers of it, as an example perhaps, as a glamour, as a grammar, a grammaire, how it could cause more difficulties. It's not for anybody else, actually, it was for me. I did it for myself. So at one time we did justify it by the justification that maybe those who find English a difficult language to understand, English with an E, might consequently be able to understand that easier because of its phonetic perspective. Though there was more than phonetics in there. It was a combination of phonetics, text, speech, uppercase, lowercase, Jamaican patois, and the utilisation of the various ways of expressing a word out of context if looked at from a academic, perhaps, perspective. There's nothing wrong with academia, perhaps, as such, though the importance placed upon it as intellect, the thing that is not, from my experience, comes down to attitude again, which again is an aspect of ego, from my perspective anyway, in that annoyance is annoyance. I wasn't necessarily wanting to annoy people, though finding people were annoyed with it. It's not good to get enjoyment from annoying folk, though the folk that get annoyed with it tended to be those who were annoying, in inverted commas, with the belief that academia was relative to intellect. Intellect is knowing. You don't need academia to know, though it can assist, no doubt. Possibly, perhaps, maybe. I ain't sure, obviously, or I wouldn't use those words to express my understanding, my perception, my perspective on that. So what I might have said, and if I might have said it in the past, why am I saying it now, if it is not the correct way to present myself in the future? I learnt a lot with Destiny and the Destonians. I learnt a thing off Casper Kwan there. The future is now, and to live in the past brings the past into the present, which is the future, because the future is now. What we do now is the future, being that we create the future now. I'm sure you've probably said it more eloquently than that. Possibly, perhaps, I cannot remember as such. I have to focus on my physical reality, my physical reality, my physical existence in the physical reality. I've done little for I'm actually having to deal with the weakness in my physical body consequent to inactivity, particularly over the last 4 years. And then, to expound the past in this vlog, having just said, don't bring the past into the present because it is the future. What would that be saying? So I'm logging out of YouTube for a while. Not that this is an announcement for anyone, other than a reminder to myself that at this point I need to focus on other things than vlogging, although I'm concerned that I am vlogging in a back-chatting manner, and perhaps it would be better if I could vlog as well, though the distraction of the computer when I turn it on, or the distractions I find on YouTube with the people I interact with here, and those that I go see. The thing about destiny is, for me, that the material, that what they share in whatever way, is irrefutably, unquestionably accurate. I have tested it for myself.